All right, everybody, happy June 19th. Today I want to do a different type of video. No trades for me today, but I want to discuss plans for the market and where I think the market may go. Of course, I have no idea what I'm talking about, nor do I have a crystal ball, but it's fun to kind of ballpark these things and see what might happen. And what is interesting is that we've been on an absolute rip between NQ and ES for the better part of 2-3 weeks since virtually the beginning of May. So we could just go a month and a half or so, just straight uptick for the most part with some minor retracements. But I'm mainly working within the NQ, so I want to talk about the NQ here specifically. And yesterday's price action, I believe, was indicative of what's to come. We are fidgeting at all-time highs. And as we look at Fibonacci, let's just go from the most recent pivot low to pivot high. We have a lot of space to work within for retracements, possible, pullbacks to grab some liquidity and go higher, or are we going to come lower and rebalance? If we go back further to April 19th, which was the absolute bottom, quote unquote, of the market, we have some key Fibonacci levels that would retrace right through some imbalances. So that's what I want to discuss with you guys today. And as always, please drop your comments below as to what you're thinking. But let's look at the price action. So here's the daily chart, and it is without a doubt a clean sweep up. But let's go back into the hourly. And you'll notice lots of legs up, but lots of sideways action too. And yesterday was quite literally the day from hell, and we're seeing continuation through that today. And even if you're looking at these wick highs, nowhere really for us to go beyond this. And I think price discovery is taking place, but also at the same time, we're going to start to see some, some sellers coming in here. I don't have Bookmap pulled up to show you guys, but even on the hourly, we're getting some fair competition between buyers and sellers, just keeping this sideways. But based off these two hourly candles, I think the leg down is already starting to begin. So if we just look at the 1 minute for fun, not much really going on today. Obviously, it's holiday price action. Overnight session was very, very flat as well. But as we look at yesterday, and as we just come through here, yesterday was a very interesting yet miserable day. Looking at this, you'd think there was a lot of price action, but there simply was not. This was largely a range-bound day. We could just look pretty much right through here and then right through here. We were pretty trapped. Identifying the range would have been a little difficult, but obviously hindsight's 2020, and for the sake of this video, I think being at all-time highs, seeing more prolonged range-bound activity, even if you want to just run this thing back even to the beginning of the week, we are just sideways. And I think we're having somewhat of that accumulation here, but I think we're going to run into the leg down now. And as we look at the higher time frames, let's go to the 4 hour actually, because I think the larger time frames are going to tell the story a little bit clearer here. And I don't want to get into the weeds of ICT concepts and all of that, but you will notice we have plenty of quote unquote imbalances, right? So we've got this imbalance here. It was tested a little bit, but I think this will get traded through. I think we're looking at a solid retracement down. Even looking at the 4 hour candle, we've got this really tightening up of buyers with sellers coming in. So I think we're going to come down here. And also that was indicative, even if we look at the daily chart. Yesterday was clearly an inside day, not much. We did close above the prior day's candle. We peaked up a little bit, but you could see the candle's already starting to retrace. So I think as we go through tomorrow and certainly next week, we're going to begin that leg down. So even here on the daily chart, yet another imbalance. This, to me, is the most interesting one. We will see what happens. It would take a pretty strong retracement to come down here and not get some sort of buyer pressure to bring it back up. But that's what I'm looking at here. Let's go back down to the 4 hour and see how these imbalances match up. And you guys will see they're still floating out here. And again, this confluence right here is the most interesting to me around the 19,100. I do not think we'll get that low. I could see us getting into the high 19s, or, the upper 19s, I should say, mid to upper 19s, to do a full test to see if this is where we're going to be. Or do we flush lower and then we find ourselves moving back higher towards the end of the years with a Santa Claus rush? So that's what I'm looking at, guys. I think the down spiral, not spiral, but the retracement is set to begin. Let me know what your thoughts are below, what you're looking at this week for next week, and I'll see you in the next video.